Here we are with the one and only Mary Coustas. Mary, welcome to Meraki TV.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting.
You're very welcome. Before we start, I wanted to check in and just, let us know what it's like to be besties with Effie. Is she doing well?
Effie always does well. Effie's done better than I have, put it that way. No, she's great. She's in top form. She's doing a stage show called A Date with Effie currently, which is selling out everywhere it's going. I'm doing Adelaide this weekend and return seasons in Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane and doing 2 nights there. So Effie does really, really well, considering that she's been around in, I suppose in publicity terms, no other term. She's a champ. And
she's pretty iconic, but tell us how much of Effie lies in Mary Coustas?
Lots.
Yeah.
A lot more than I would have chosen to admit years ago, but I think our spirit's the same. Effie's definitely a love letter to my childhood, my Collingwood years, which was the sort of happiest part of my childhood. I loved growing up in Collingwood, and when I was thrown into the middle class, I sort of had to give up the Effie in me and, become more refined and get a better education. Wasn't as much fun. But so in the end, she's definitely half of me in one way or another.
Well, I've got a sneaking suspicion that Effie gets to say the things that Mary Coustas maybe doesn't always get to say.
Definitely on a comic level, although I'm sort of pretty outspoken as well. I've not spent a lot of time censoring myself, and I think that's part of why I chose to be an artist. But I suppose Effie sort of says it in a more brash, funny, entertaining way than probably I would. I'd probably be a bit more serious about it. But,
she's very straight to the point. And speaking of being very open yourself, the wonderful new memoir, All I Know, by Mary Coustas, laid it all on the table there, really.
Yeah, there's nothing left, really, apart from what you get in that book. There's no mystery left anymore.
The sweeping manos super pinatakrivis. What happened?
I know, and I didn't ask her if I could write the book. I told her I'd written one. But she knows the kid that she's got. I told the story because it became a bigger story than what I could have imagined, and it became a story that wasn't just mine in the end, and the response to it's been so massive, from the media to the public. It's been incredible, and I sort of had a feeling, I had a hope when I finished writing it. When I pressed the key down for the last time, I just thought, this is going to mean a lot to people other than just me and my family. And I think that's why I chose to do it in the end, because it was something beneficial to others, not just to me. It wasn't just a vanity project.
And what kind of, because for those who haven't read the book, you laugh, you cry, you laugh again, you cry again, you laugh again, you cry 10 times more again, and it keeps fooling you into this lull of, oh, okay, we're into happy smiley times now, and then bang, it's a sfaliata across the face of just like life does to us, and that's exactly what the book does.
It's ultimately uplifting though, wouldn't you say?
At the end it's beautiful, and it's, I guess it's what the ancient Greeks and all the philosophers teach, is that life is a lesson, and you take what you need from it, the positives and the negatives, and you keep learning and growing and taking more sfaliatas and learning and growing.
That's it.
But in particular, when you talk about losing a child, how have people responded to that? Have you gotten lots of support? Because I would assume there would be support networks for women coming out of the closets. Just so grateful that someone has written about this so eloquently.
Yeah, it's been remarkable, the response. I've been asked to be ambassador to so many different causes, and the amount of women that have had similar stories to tell. Mine was a little bit more complicated, but the outcome is an outcome that a lot of women unfortunately have had. A lot of families, I've put men in there also, because it's a massive loss for a man, and I suppose in many ways a bigger loss because they don't have the privilege of expressing the grief as freely as women choose to. Although I'm sure there's a lot of silent grievers out there of any gender. It's very hard to let yourself go there emotionally. I was really lucky that I had great people around me. I'm the type of person that is very at peace with, doing what's necessary in order to survive it. And I didn't want my daughter's spirit to be burdened by carrying something that was not her load to bear, which was a lifetime of unhappiness for me.
Mm-hmm.
So the sadness is there, but life is worth living, and bad things didn't happen just to me and my husband, they happened to everyone. And it's a matter of how you digest those things and how you move forward from them. But certainly it's a big tribute to my daughter, this book. Also to my father, who sort of set me up for coping with death the way I have, because he was sick before I was born. And it's just a huge part of life that, whether we choose to admit it or not, we all have to come to terms with loss and grief. And it might not be in the forms of death for some people. It might be innocence or dreams or relationships. But we all suffer, and I think it's about how we recover from that, ultimately.
Absolutely. And we're into the happy part again.
Yeah.
Some wonderful news.
Yeah.
Pregnant.
Yes.
Yes. And how will you keep Stevie alive moving forward?
Like the way I have with anything that's mattered to me that might not be present, I think it's through talking about them, through doing things that liberate their memory and me at the same time, and just through not being afraid of addressing the grief. For me, it's a big part of life. I laugh a lot, I cry a lot, I think too much, like most people, but I try to do something positive with it. I try to put my creative juices to work and express it through a means that might apply to a lot of other people, not just me.
Well, your creative juices have done something wonderful here, and I know anyone who has read this has been touched by this book, whether they've had similar experiences or not, because the amazing strength you and your family have shown in this is incredible. So, but
I don't like the other option. I wish I didn't have to, to have such strength, but it did happen. And like I said, the other option wasn't worthy enough for me. So,
well, we love it. Congratulations. We can't wait to hear all the wonderful news in the next few months.
Yeah.
But also you're glowing.
I'm glowing and I'm growing.
So
it's very exciting, it is, but it does not come without its concerns still. And until I have that happy, healthy baby in my arms, I think there'll be a part of me that will always be slightly cautious and concerned. So hopefully these months will roll on quickly.
Very quickly.
And I'll get the result that I've been dreaming about for a long time.
Yay.
Anyway, thank you for having me on the show.
You're very welcome.
Bye,
Merry
everyone.
Coustas, everyone.
Buy the book, it's good.
3 copies.